Hey there everyone, it's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and you caught me doing bees in the latter half of November. That's right, November 18th to be exact. Pretty late to be messing with bees, right? Well, I'm looking at some bees right now, and I'm messing with some bees. So, out here in town, and they're not quite as active as you would, think when it's actually 70 degrees out, and sometimes it's overcast, sometimes it's cloudy. It's been switching back and forth all day, but there's no flow going on. I mean, I see a little goldenrod over here. Little things like this are still out. There's a little bit of aster still out, but that's finished. But the bees, they are working. They're just, it's cool in the mornings. They get going about now, and really there's just not a lot out there, so they've slowed down a lot. So I suspect this should be about the last time you see me in the bees. I'm not saying that I won't be in them at all. I can't predict what will happen, but I plan on this being about the last time you see me in the bees. Wow, those bees are working now. Wow, all of a sudden they just got active. But it did just get sunshiny. Literally, it's been overcast and sunshine and overcast and sunshine. But it's beautiful, 60 and 70 degree days. Oh, gorgeous. And anyway, I suspect it'll be my last time in the bees. But today, I'm actually going to pull a super of honey off. I want to be done with it. It was the one we watched, seen in another video that wasn't capped. It was full of goldenrod honey. They may have consumed some of it. I don't know. Maybe they capped it. Maybe they didn't. I'm going to pull it off anyway because I want the supers off. But that's one of the reasons I'm out here, just to get that off, because I like to have all my supers off the boxes. I like to have nothing but doubles and singles going into winter, how they're going to be configured for the whole winter, how I'm going to bring them out of winter, condensed and ready to go for spring. But the other thing we're going to do is we're going to check on that colony that had a queen that just refused to stay in there, and she dove out. And of course I had the little swarm, and I put them together to see what they were going to do. So that's it right over there. It's got the nuke on it. I need to open it up, see if they accepted her or if they killed her. And we go from there. Let me throw a veil on and we'll get busy. So let's see what we got. I know we got a bottom board that I probably should have brought a lid out here. I didn't even think about it. All right, got her dumped off. Really don't need to go deep, just need to make sure she's laying. Ooh, man, that thing smells like goldenrod. I'm surprised we're still smelling it that strong. So, got to be very quick and easy, quick and efficient here, because they will begin robbing, and this is a weak colony, so we don't want to take any chances. And there's a queen. As soon as I pull her up, wasn't even going to look for her. There she is. She's still alive. No need to go any further. I'm looking down, and they have chewed through. So it appears to me that we have definitely a merged colony. So it's the best of both worlds, because this thing wouldn't have made it with the few bees it had. Looking at, oh wow. Now this is unusual, folks. Very unusual. I got a laying worker and a queen. Okay, this is odd. Haven't seen this before. Maybe this won't be the last time we open bees. Wow, now this is a first. I'm going to try and let you see what I'm seeing. This blew me away just now. I wasn't ready for this. I see a queen, I expect eggs. And what I see is bunches of eggs. Now this is not a new queen, so there shouldn't be a problem with her laying, but this is almost like laying worker configuration. It's amazing. I need a queen cage, because I need to look in this colony a little deeper. Nothing's ever easy, nothing's ever cut and dry. We get this queen in a cage. She was laying just fine when we put them together. Now, well darn, there she is. I just dropped her. Oh, I just dropped them. Goodness, I just dropped my queen. Well, that's fine. All right, so I went in there. I ended up hitting the frame, knocked the queen down in there. I watched her walk. I think she went either down in the bottom. You can see where they've merged between each other. They're together. I want to look at this next frame. Maybe she crawled up on it, but I do want to see if there's any normal eggs in here. This queen was a normal laying queen. She didn't have a lot of brood, but she had about 2 frames of brood and normal eggs. When we checked it after, a couple weeks after we boxed her or hived her from the swarm, she was normal. Bottom box, I know, literally went without a queen for only 1 week, and there were no eggs, no laying, no multiple eggs, nothing. In 1 week, that's pretty quick for them to make a laying worker anyway, or for them to turn laying worker. A drone layer, she'll normally lay normal eggs for the most part, nothing like that that I've ever seen. The drone layers I've seen have just usually lay infertile eggs and lay them, 1 or 2 in a cell like normal sometimes, but I've never seen a queen walking all over the top of multiple eggs in a cell like that. Laying workers developed in the bottom before they chewed through, maybe got to the top, are laying eggs now. I don't know, could be, but there's not enough of them to where they've killed the queen. So let's see if we've got any normal eggs anywhere. It's a quandary. So just when you think we can put them away, hopefully they're queen right for the winter, we can put them away and we're done. Not so fast. All right, there's our queen again. I am gonna put her in a cage this time. I see her again. See, that's normal brood, normal larvae. Okay, there she is. Can't leave them open too much longer. I'm seeing single eggs, everything is normal, so maybe this isn't the last time we... Well, here comes a bee coming out. See if we can let that bee out a little quicker and see what it looks like. All right, what do we got coming out of there? That appears to be a normal worker. It's just a little worker bee. I don't know, folks. Very strange. And on this side, again, you won't be able to see. Maybe I can get another picture. They're just normal eggs. Normal, single. That one looked just fine. So I don't know. I don't know what we got going on. She's not a new queen. Sometimes new queens will lay a few multiple eggs. Nothing like I just saw. All right, folks. I'm gonna close them up. I don't want any problems with robbing. We're gonna let this queen go back in. She's laying in there normal, but there appears to be a laying worker in there as well. I've never seen that before. Either saw one or the other. Let's see if this one stays in. She goes on down. So we like that. We're gonna put the lid on, or the bottom on. So they're beginning to get agitated. It's robbing season. Bees know when it's time for robbing. There's way too much space on that colony, but this is not the time to start opening it up and tearing it open and moving frames and everything, because I've already got bees that are investigating, so there's no flow and robbing will start. Everybody's content. The bees are content. There's no robbing going on, so just leave them alone. I know, though, based on population, there can't be that many bees in the bottom, and there's not that many at the top. The whole thing with that colony was, well, we're back overcast again. It really wasn't a viable swarm. It wasn't gonna, it had maybe a frame of bees with a queen, and you saw her. The other one didn't have a queen. We saw her dive out and she refused to stay in. So, had no choice but to really put them both together and hope for the best. If they make it, they make it. If they don't, well, so be it. But we give them every chance we can. Really should take that space down. That's bothering me, but I'm just not ready to do it. And the last thing I need to do is get those bees fired up around here and start robbing. They'll rob that thing out in a heartbeat. I just felt it. It's got a lot of weight in it too, so just gonna leave it alone. I was gonna go into the bottom, but no need to. They've already merged. There's no reason to go in the bottom because she's in the top. That's where her brood's at. She's only one queen. She can only put in so much brood. She's probably staying up there anyway. But now we've at least joined her with some extra workers, so maybe we've got the numbers to where when they do cluster, they'll be big enough. The question is, will they dwindle so small over the winter? Although it's short here and she'll have brood for another month, is it really enough to keep up? We don't know. So maybe we will be back into bees again, because that's a very unusual situation. I've either seen laying workers all by themselves or a drone laying queen all by herself. I've never seen a good laying queen or a normal laying queen with a laying worker, and there wasn't enough time for them to go laying worker. So just doesn't make sense. Just another thing that doesn't make sense. Whatever. I'm gonna go get this honey box and get on back to the house. I'm out here harvesting honey on November 18th, but I'm clearing that box off. They'll have plenty of honey in the bottom. I just need to get it off of there, and they should be able to be condensed now. It's a huge colony. I didn't want to condense them, and it wasn't capped. They look like they've capped 70-80% of it. I'll check the moisture, but here's our little one that had EFB that appeared to clear out. Bringing in pollen, that's good. Just saw a little, wasn't a lot. There's just a couple little spots of pollen on the legs of one of the bees that came in. That's a good sign. This is another one that could have issues because it just doesn't have the bees. It just doesn't have the bees. They're happy, but there's just not many bees. There's about 3 frames of bees in there, and that's it. But I'm gonna leave them alone. They just don't have time to grow. They recovered so late that, you know, bees just have to have time. Everything is about timing. Timing is so important. I mean, you know, we forget that if we go without a queen, or like this one was sick and they just weren't making bees, and then when you finally get them to making bees, you're talking 21 days for the first emergence. You know, they've got to grow up. They got to make so many bees, and when they only got a few weeks to do it in, there's not enough time. Timing is so important. Well, that seemed to run them out pretty good. But the reason I wanted them out, there's a few over here, is I want to do the old shake. Am I getting any nectar out? Nothing shaking out. So I'm gonna call that good. All right, got the bees beat down, or fume down. I don't beat them. Make sure there's no queen up there. We're gonna pop this box. Oh man. This box is still super heavy on top. Plenty of honey in the top. I'm gonna get this goldenrod honey off of here. I don't know, everybody talks about goldenrod honey just because it smells bad. It sure tastes good. I want to get this off. Although they're strong, still don't want to start robbing. So definitely want them closed up now. Oops, sorry folks. Let's get this lid on here. They'll be good. They got plenty of honey left. Well folks, there you go. Got that super off. I've got 2 supers left out here, and I think 3 supers at home, maybe 4 that are on colonies, and they're just being stored. They're old supers that had brood in them, and I'm gonna store them till about December. Most all of them are empty. That's the last full one with any honey in it. That was actually a brood super I stored. They just filled it. That's a massive colony, but they'll be okay being reduced at this point. Here comes the sun again, and I'll leave those 2 supers on till about December, then I'll pull them off. But we got that box of honey out there. I'm gonna put that in a bucket. That honey tastes good, and it's goldenrod. It's all yellow, wax, everything. Tastes delicious. You know, the one thing about my weak ones that I have, like I think I told you one video, there's about 5 or 6 weak ones out of all my colonies that are just weak, and they're just nothing but problems. Every time you open them, there's just something new and there's something wrong. They're just not growing. So they'll probably weed themselves out. Nature will take care of that. I'm not going to do much more for them. They've got to figure out on their own what they're going to do. If the queen has anything good in them, they'll make it. The only thing they got against them right now is numbers. They got to have numbers for when it gets cold. They got 2 to 4 weeks. Then if they don't have the numbers, it's just, there's nothing we can do with them. Thing about the cold weather here, we'll freeze in the mornings, get warm in the days, but if we have a really good freeze where it's a few days worth of really, really cold weather, that's what usually gets them. When we don't get out of the 30s for a few days straight, and then that's where the small ones just can't cluster, don't have the numbers. And remember, bees start dying off as they go. So, these are things you got to watch for. But hey, everybody's heavy. I'm not taking anything from anybody. That's all I had to do out here today. Mainly want to check that colony. And again, another first. I've seen drone layers. I've seen laying workers. I've not seen a laying worker with a regular laying queen. And maybe she's a drone layer. I doubt it. Her brood looks normal. Everything looks normal with it when it's capped. And we saw a worker bee come out. But it's another first. But what better season to have a first like that than this season, where it's crazy as it is. Unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up, right? You saw it. I think I got good enough pictures. So I'm just going to leave her alone, because she's putting in eggs, and the laying worker's putting in eggs, and maybe the laying worker will get killed eventually, or maybe the queen will get killed and we'll have a whole bunch of drones. I don't know. And remember, laying workers, there's usually more than one. It's usually not just one laying worker. Several develop their ovaries and are in there. So I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Either the timing don't work out right. They weren't more than a week without a queen. No, I take that back. They could have, I guess. They went 2 weeks and then had newspaper on, and there wasn't a lot chewed out because they were so small. So they could have went long enough to do that. Obviously it did. So who knows? I'm gonna call it a video at this point. I'm gonna call it a season. Will we open another hive? Most likely now we will. Well, hey, look, I really appreciate all y'all watching. I appreciate your support. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I did bees in the latter part of November. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. May God bless you. We'll see y'all later.